live.
Live.
It actually worked.
Did it?
Wow. Hi, everybody. If you're
Hey,
watching, this is Katrina Bree.
how you doing?
Katrina, how are you doing?
I'm doing well.
This is weird. We were just talking very normal, like normal people,
Yeah.
just a
So let's
second.
put on the
Then right when this comes on, we
whole
go
new
into,
people.
yeah, we're whole new people. This is weird in the business, how that works,
It's
isn't it?
very strange. There's a lot of strange things in the business.
There
But
are. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Katrina is a singer here in town. A gem that I did not know about, one of those gems hidden in the rough, out here in Vegas. When I heard her voice, I'm like, where's she been? How are you doing? What's your name? She goes, Katrina Bree. I'm like, you destroyed my home. She's like, no, that wasn't me. That was the conversation.
Yeah. And then that's when I realized where you're from.
Yeah. Yeah. And now where you're from California.
Yes, from California. Born and raised.
Born and raised
Moved to Vegas
on a playground.
on a playground in a sandbox.
Oh no, that's not. No, it's Philly. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, here
Oh
we
right.
go.
Yeah. But yeah, California. What
Yeah.
part? In you said
Well, I moved from LA.
from LA
Yeah.
to here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Los Angeles girl.
Yeah.
Do
It's
you consider yourself like that? Culture and nature. I mean, I find it a fascinating culture, and it really is.
It is. It is. But you know what? Actually, Vegas to me has been. I would say Vegas has been nicer to me. LA is a very. If you're not careful, there's beautiful things about it. It's LA, the weather, the legends, Hollywood, and all that. But you have to have a certain personality, I think, to thrive there.
That's what I noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm more of Vegas has been good to me. I look at Vegas as like a nurturing mother, like as far as my career.
Feels good here.
Yeah, the people are good, and it's you get a little of the wild parties, on the strip, but then you can get some serene. I live by the Red Rocks,
See, for people who don't know Las Vegas, you see it as a tourist place as well. But Las Vegas, to live here, it really is the remaining last of the Wild West. And it really feels like it. Like maybe not to such great lawlessness, but wait, then again.
Yeah.
But it's so open, and it's still so open, and you feel more
Absolutely.
freedom out in the West out here. That is, of course, if you keep going far west.
There you
Is that
go.
why you came to Vegas? Was
Yeah. You know what?
real estate getting too high out there?
Yeah, but you know what? Then we're all moving here, and so
Right.
you know what they say? Don't California my Vegas, and I'm like, well,
California, you're very
yeah, but I'll bring my voice. I'll bring my voice, and I've been lucky to meet some great
what
people.
an awesome voice too that you have.
Thank you.
Man, I don't look when I get turned on by singers, it has to be believable, man. Right?
Yes.
It's like you can't fake emotions.
It's crazy how even if you try,
Even
people
actors,
pick it up like
actors
that.
are not that pull those emotions off in films. They're really pulling those emotions forth to be able to.
Yeah.
I've heard the struggle with actors too, that they have to carry that home with them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And turn that off. All those emotions from the character they were.
Well, what do they call them? Method actors? Is that
method
especially?
Actors, yeah,
are there any real method actors left, or is that more of a style?
I think to be a method actor today now would be a bit of a risk, right? I mean, we're going into a bit of politics here, but it would be risky because it's taken away from the people that they are portraying, or from the culture of the people they're portraying, and that becomes a new topic in the art of acting and theater.
You're right.
But it should remain an art, and I think that. And I don't know what you feel about this, but art should be shared. Culture should be shared. It shouldn't be kept amongst one culture, right? I mean, the culture owns it, but they, like it's beautiful.
It's a gift, yeah.
Music, food,
absolutely.
Music, and all the art that goes with culture.
Sure. Yeah, well, I think in a lot of ways we learn culture from art, right? I mean, you learn about you learn about different cultures through different forms of art.
Right.
And then you told me how much you love cooking and different types, and gave me the challenge to come up with a good dish to cook. And I said, how about jambalaya? You said,
Jambalaya.
really? You picked it right from my.
Yeah,
But you know what? Yeah,
that's an easy one. Yeah.
yeah. But even within the U.S., all the different states have their own cultures, and you think about music and all the Texans that have been in the blues in the country, and then Louisiana the blues, and we all kind of in California you might think more
Well,
pop and
that's
more.
what I tell people all the time too. They're like, America doesn't really have its own culture, but we do. It's the melting pot.
Yeah,
That's our culture. I mean, it's everyone who I believe that it lives here in this country knows that this is an immigrant country, other than the Native Americans. They're like, oh, well, wait a
yeah,
minute.
yeah.
But, and all of the cultures, including the Native American cultures, are to be embraced
Sure.
and appreciated
Appreciated. Yes, absolutely, and preserved.
and preserved without a
Hmm.
doubt.
Yeah.
I don't mind the whole meshing of cultures when you're doing that, right? Let it happen naturally.
Right. And things will fall into place where they're
Right, it'll
supposed
fall
to.
into place naturally. You know that if you go to New Orleans, you see that because
Yeah.
that is a melting pot that slowly all these cultures melted together, and you could taste it in the food,
How about the
which is so
beignets?
unique. And the beignets, well,
I wanted to take a whole lot of those. Are so? Is that a
that's a
French
French,
influence?
yeah. So that's
Yeah.
one of the proofs right there, or
Hmm.
evidence that of all the cultures that combine right there. And of course, you got the French down there,
Uh
and the
huh.
food. You've got uh, the French, but you've got three different French. You got the French. You got the Creole,
Yeah.
and which are from the Caribbean, and then you got the Cajun, which are from Canada, and then
See, I
three
didn't know
different
that.
French down there, right?
Interesting.
And then you got the Spanish culture, of course, the Mexican culture, along with Spanish, outside of Spanish, it's literally Spanish, and then
Yeah.
Mexican, and then you get the Asian cultures, Vietnamese culture on the Gulf Coast around
Really.
that area, huge. I mean, very big. Like that's where I've heard crawfish was helped influence
Really.
boiled
Ah.
crawfish.
And thank you.
Like the Asians, the
Yeah.
Vietnamese, from what I heard here, knew how to do that and was teaching everyone how to do it, and became a cultural thing down there. I might be wrong on that, but I've read that, and I do know the Vietnamese are big culture down there.
Sure. So, have you ever tried one?
And there was one more I was going to say. Oh, and then you get the dang Italians coming in,
Yeah.
and then they have to add their
Of
culture into it, right?
course.
And then, boy, that brings the pastas into the jambalayas, and that's sort of that Emerald Lagasse flavor. Like
Oh yeah.
if you go to Emerald Lagasse's, any of his restaurants, guys, that's 100% New Orleans style. He
Inspired
uses
Italian.
everything. It's not just inspired; it is the real deal.
Wow.
Like he uses the real
So, what kind of dish would
stuff.
you think you would get from? Like, what would be something? Would it have an Italian flair on it, or is that not?
What the Italians did, from what I noticed, like I say, they would introduce some of their spices and some of their um, uh, carbohydrates, like
Right.
mainly pasta.
Right.
So that's where the pasta influence comes into New
I
Orleans.
never knew you were so into cooking and all that until you told me
Well, I'm
the
into
other day.
culture,
Okay.
anthropology,
Yeah,
you know?
we did talk about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fascinated
Yeah.
by culture. I'm fascinated by humans, me. I want to know more about what man is capable of doing
Right.
on the good sides of life and the bad side,
Yeah. It's all a part of it.
right? What are we truly capable of, and what have we done? What have we achieved, and what have we lost? And
Right.
what can we learn?
Hmm.
In the long scheme of things, right? In
Sure.
culture,
Yeah.
right? That's why I love it.
So, actually, mix of different. I think about different genres now of music and how everything is kind of you don't want to mesh too much because you want to have a distinct style, but it's interesting how nowadays when we make new music writing a lot of songs trying to find my style, my sound, and you try not to, which I don't know if this is a good idea as anybody who's listening that writes music or composes or produces, but you want to have your own style, but you also are influenced by so many different cultures and music. I mean, I love I was watching a movie, and actually it's on Netflix now. It's Ripley, and it's all filmed in black and white. It's an incredible show. If you haven't seen it, you should. It's just full of art and beauty, and um, tells the story of Ripley, a new version of it. Um, and there's some beautiful Italian music that, I mean, I get so inspired from that. Not really Andrea Bocelli style opera, but more, there's this really good La Puntamento. It's a really beautiful song.
Man, I wish we had this conversation with Jim Trippy in the room right now.
Oh,
I've
what
been
a
trying to
guy.
get him to come over here and show off some of these Italian instruments that he's recently acquired from some really great artisan and craftsmen out of Italy and Sicily. Man, he's got this bagpipe there. You'd love it.
Really?
But the thing
That
that
doesn't
what
surprise me. That guy is so
I know he
talented. He can
has
play
every
every instrument under the sun.
and we talk about the same thing. That's why I was saying it would be awesome if he were here in
Right,
this conversation. He'd have some. So every culture is, inspired by another.
right.
I mean, that's what culture is.
Mm.
If you look up the definition of culture, it is to teach what one knows to another.
Really?
That's what culture is. Yeah.
Okay.
It's an idea one gives to another. That's what makes it culture. The word in definition. I mean, I'm paraphrasing it to some way, maybe, or that's
Right.
not exactly how it says it, but it is.
Let's check the comments. I'm
Yeah,
sure some.
it's being taught. It's something you are taught. That's culture, right? It's
Right,
an idea, an
right.
ideology in some ways, right? And you go with an ideology, and that becomes a staple in culture.
Yes.
And people go, well, religion, what do you believe? If you in a culture, what's the belief they commonly ask? But that's not really the case. That shouldn't be the question in my
Right.
point of view.
Separate. Yeah.
It should be, how do you act in that religion? How do they act in that
Mm,
religion? How do they behave in that religion?
right.
Because that tells you everything about the culture.
Hmm.
Okay, then that's fun.
Yeah.
All right.
That's interesting.
When you go in, just like that missing pieces of puzzle thing, going from that opposite way of going, well, I know things to do and what to do, and what I know what not to do.
What not to do.
I
Yeah.
better, right? So that helps fill in at
Yeah.
least the part you can't go after exactly now. You know what it looks like at least,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. You know
Come
what
at
you're
it
looking.
from the other side. I hope
Yeah.
it makes sense on that.
You
But
do.
let's now, you told me a moment ago, and I didn't know this. But you were going to school for medicine and for biology, a form
Yeah.
of
Biochem.
biology,
Hmm.
biochemistry.
Yes.
Okay.
Extremely difficult.
What now? Explain biochemistry, the overall field. What is it?
So there's different versions. I mean, a lot of, I guess I'll say a lot of professions that require that degree are very small. And of course, I had to go after I could have done bio, which would have been easier. The chemistry part is what makes it difficult. But biochem it's very interesting. It's a very,
This is, I take it, where biology meets the worlds of physics a bit,
yes,
where we're going into
chemistry.
chemistry and
Yep.
biology makes that. Okay.
Yeah. From what I was taught, I mean, everything's really a derivative from physics, and it just, that's how it built. It's like physics and calculus and the math of it all, and then you had chemistry, and then you had bio, and then we start studying, and it's so many dimensions.
Right, but yeah. So what you're saying then is that's confirming that's where this fine line of
Hmm.
microscopic and macroscopic kind of
Yes,
is
it's a
meeting
very,
that in that world. Okay.
yeah, and so a lot of the people I went to college with, they were going to be pharmacists, they were going to be, chemical engineers, and so you didn't have a ton of people doing that, because if you wanted to be a doctor, you would just do bio. You don't even actually have to have a degree in, any science. You could. I actually know a doctor that was he had a degree in like some type of psychology, and then he studied for the MCATs, and you have to have a certain amount of the core classes. So yeah, it taught me
Huh.
diligence, and it taught
Is it
me.
sort of like an architect? You don't have to take the full school, and you just got to know to pass the test.
Yes, but you
Okay.
do have to have a degree.
Right.
So you
Okay.
have to have a bachelor's.
Well,
Uh-huh.
in
Yeah.
that world, I would hope so. Right.
Yeah, right?
Right.
You would hope. Yeah. So yeah, that's a part of my journey, a part of my we were talking earlier, you and I, about when people ask you what do you want, and as an artist, you sometimes you have a goal, but you're not, it never turns out actually the way you think. And so it's part of my journey. I met a lot of interesting people, a lot of different cultures, because medicine and science, it's not cut
Did
off
you
to one
travel
culture.
around the world and that? Did you get to travel
I
outside
did
at
a
all?
Oh, yeah, I've been to, Europe a few times. That's where my, ancestry is from. I've been to Greece and Spain and Italy. I've been to Spain twice, near the
and
region where
Mediterranean, and
gorgeous.
you're Spanish and Italian.
Yeah.
Now you were saying your father was Spanish and from Spain, right? Or
My
his
father
his
wasn't, but his
his
yeah, I believe
bloodline is Spanish, though.
yes,
It's Spanish.
yes,
S- okay, and then your mother Italian.
Italian. She has a few other things, like a little Portuguese, influence, which is
She might be Sicilian then.
yeah, she always says I have a
Oh,
Portuguese
oh, don't.
nose because she has a
Somebody.
bigger nose than I do.
Oh no, really?
Yeah. I'm like, "Is that a
She,
compliment or are you little
ah,
you're not envious of my nose, are you?" But yeah, no, this is, yeah, I've been and, it felt really great because when you the first time you arrive in Europe, any part, it just seemed you could just feel the it's an older kinda you look at a post
it
office and
really
you think
does.
it's
Yeah,
an,
right.
somehow this big prestigious and they're no, it's just the post office, that's a
Mm.
library. They
Everything's
put so much
low
effort into architecture.
ceilings.
Low ceilings, just old.
Old, comfortable. You walk in, it feels like a cave in some
Right.
places. Like you walk in, it's so small and
Yeah.
cozy, and especially in the
Very
winters. And
and you
yeah,
just feel the
cobblestone
you just feel the
everywhere.
history of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And you see the cobble. I noticed when I was in the Czech Republic, they had uh, they had groove marks in the cobblestones
Mm.
from the old chariots and stuff,
Oh,
chariots
really?
and
Oh, that's
that would
awesome.
go through, and it's just from like hundreds of years of them going over it, but it's still there,
It's still
and
there.
it's and
Preserved,
no,
yeah.
yeah, no cars over it, but still the same
Mhm.
individual cobblestones
Yeah,
causing these dips from the old wagon wheels
right.
going through the areas.
Yeah, it's
It's
insane.
awesome.
You wanna keep those preserved, just not the potholes in LA. That's the one
Right.
thing I don't that's the
Right.
one thing I don't miss
That's
about LA is
that's the
the
thing, yeah.
roads, yeah.
If people go to LA, that'll be part it should be part of the tour,
It's part of the tour.
show the
This is the
traffic.
largest pothole in West
Yeah,
Hollywood.
it's gotta be the traffic,
Yeah.
Take the 101. It's always, "Let's start with the 101,
Yeah, there you go, and
and
it
then
all
we'll
derives
take
from
that
there.
to this and that." Yes.
And that's one thing actually where anyways, when you come back to the US, you realize how young our country is, and there's beauty in that as well. We're the hip, they consider us
And
the
now
cool hip.
listen to what she said there, youngins out there, people who especially have not been to other countries.
Right.
That is a sense that I got when I come back every time from other countries,
Hmm.
was how new.
Yeah, where have you been actually? I haven't
I've
even.
been to China. I've been to Czech Republic for a month. So I got this.
How
That's
was that?
where Lucy's from. Her
Yeah.
family, her
Oh, right.
mom and dad. Hi, mom and dad. Hi, Czech Republic. Ahoy.
Oh, there you
Um,
go.
that's all I know.
I know. I'm like, what?
And let's see. I've been to Switzerland. Can't forget that.
Gorgeous. I bet
Twice to Switzerland. That is
that's
freaking
somewhere I would like
unbelievable.
to go.
Hello to my Swiss friends. How do you say hello in Deutsch?
I don't,
I,
don't ask me.
I don't know. I don't know. But Dankeschön.
I know
Okay.
hola and ciao
Um,
and
right. They're like it's close to English, but yeah, I don't
yeah.
know. I'll get there. I'll start learning different
We'll
tongues.
get you a dictionary.
But I've been to South America and a few places.
Where would you like to go if you could
Um,
go anywhere that you haven't been?
I am finally where I want to be,
Okay,
and it's a place and time
sure.
because I've been around the world and there are places I would like to visit, but it's not a huge bucket list because the main bucket list I've always had is to find serenity at some given place in time.
Which is rare, and you
And
got to
so
search
right
for it.
now I'm in that content moment. So, and I feel like that's the place I
It's
need to
beautiful,
be.
yeah. And that's the crazy thing about Vegas. I mean, when I moved, all my friends are like, "You're moving to Vegas? You could just go over there. You don't have to live. We're neighboring." But
Yeah, and it feels that way. It feels like it's just, yeah,
that's the thing so
absolutely.
interesting about Vegas is like I was like,
Crossroads.
yeah, I'll never move to Vegas because I don't want to live by the strip. And I'm sure, and it's so almost not a very, it's kind of an
Where do you live?
ignorant
What
way to
side of
think about
town?
it. I live in Summerlin.
In
So
Summerlin. So you're
yeah,
not that far from.
No.
I thought you had to come all the way to BFE here, over
No.
here. A lot of people do because I live on the edge of town.
Yeah.
So I live like
Beautiful
about
part of
30
town.
minutes from the strip.
And what I love is you can see the mountains. I mean, it's so gorgeous. Like sometimes I'm driving and I'm just like, I can't believe I live
Yeah, and Summerlin, where
here.
she lives, guys, that's a place that Howard Hughes and his family are known for that area. I don't know if they
Hmm.
owned it. There's some sort of big history with the family of the Hughes
Yeah.
family. And so it's known for the aristocratic, and it sits on the hill. It sits on the
They call
hill.
it the LA
Yeah,
Vegas.
it's the Beverly
And I
Hills of
said, wait, didn't I
Vegas.
just leave LA? No shame to LA. I do love where I'm
So
from,
that's
but
where but that's beautiful out there. I
yeah.
have a lot of friends that live on the golf course out there, and they
Yeah.
just love golf.
And I believe OJ actually, who just recently passed,
Right, he
I
just
ran into
passed
him
away. Yeah,
several times over the, it's
yeah,
that,
yeah.
I think that might have been where he
My wife
passed.
he came into her store not long ago.
Really?
Yeah, we had an open store out here one year. She goes, I wasn't going to serve him. I said, what are you going to? Oh, well, that's right.
It is kind of scary,
Your
but
own business. But
depends.
I didn't know her. I never asked Lucy's opinion on O.J. Simpson, right? I
Yeah, it's
never
like it's
asked.
only until you run into him that you.
And then she brings him up, and then I'm like, well, what was he like? I don't know. I didn't want to talk to him. He kill, he murder. I'm going, oh God, okay, calm down, calm down.
Yeah, yeah. So, but
It's controversial character,
right.
and then and then he passed away. But
Yeah,
we
kind
have a
of
lot of different people like that out here, man.
great
Vegas,
people.
those are the one. Not OJ, but I don't know,
No,
maybe, but I don't know.
not
That's a
to me at least. I'm
controversial
not a
thing.
fan.
But we have a lot of controversial characters. Of course, Vegas does. The
Hmm.
ones that we know of, and the ones we know of.
The ones we
And
know of.
the
That's
ones we
key.
know of. The
Do we know
rest
all
of
the?
them,
Yeah.
man, this is a petri dish for criminals. Las Vegas people. This
Mafiosos.
is Sin City.
But a lot of history.
Yes, there's great things
Sometimes
about
I
it.
sing at the
The
Westgate.
Sin.
Yeah, sin, city of sin, huh?
The City. It totally
Sometimes I
goes
say at
there.
Westgate and I think, oh, this is where Elvis, someone reminded me, that's when it was called, what was it, International something, and Elvis used to play here.
I
And
think
it's just
so.
weird. It's
Yeah, it
weird
was
to be
one of
in the
those.
same,
Right,
you know,
right.
but he's an icon. I mean, I come from Hollywood where you run into a famous
And
person
you
all
were
the time.
saying that your father, who just recently passed, but
Yeah.
very sorry, was a huge fan of Elvis.
Huge fan of Elvis.
Yes.
Should we tell them what we discovered?
I don't know. That's up to you.
Sure. So I came in, we had to, I've been here for an hour or so. We are just talking and I have this tattoo. I don't know if you can,
Oh, there
right,
it is.
right
Yeah.
here. And I have a few others, but the one Michael noticed was this one. And
Yeah, I thought it said.
where's the
TCB.
camera? There you go.
Yeah, I thought it said TCB
Well,
on
my
it.
dad
It's the TCB logo,
right.
right?
My dad's name was Bruce Kevin Ortiz, and my name is Katrina Bree Ortiz. We have the same initials. So I got this in memory of him. He had this right here on his shoulder. And Michael goes, you know what that stands for, right?
She
And I
started
immediately
getting
put
all.
my hands
She
up.
started getting. Oh no! Don't tell me no. I did something wrong.
No, I thought, oh my gosh, I just got a tattoo without researching.
Right,
I'm like,
right.
thanks,
Yeah,
Dad.
yeah.
But yeah, it was one of the tattoos my dad had, which I always found odd that he had a tattoo. It was a stick and poke. You could tell that it was, yeah. And in fact, I told the guy that did it. He does a lot of my brother's tattoos. He has
stick and pokes.
yeah, yeah. I told the guy I want it to look just like my dad's. He goes, sorry, I'm not gonna give you that. You're not gonna be tattooed by me if you want something that looks exactly like the one that your dad had. But it was just funny. You could tell it was a stick and poke. But I guess that was a very Elvis
So
thing.
when she flashed it by, I went, "Oh, you're not."
You tell it. Yeah.
I said, I don't know. How did I say? I said, do you know what that stands for?
You know what that stands for. So immediately you can imagine what my mind.
I wanted to see the tattoo. I saw it at first and I wanted to see it to make sure. And then she showed it. And then I saw it didn't say TCB. And I said, well, that looks just like a logo that I know what it's trying to look like. And she, do you know what? I asked her, do you know what that is and what that logo means? She's like, oh no.
Yeah, I didn't want to know.
What did
actually.
I do? I didn't know. I don't want to know.
Don't get tattoos, kids.
So I explained to her that that's the logo of Elvis Presley.
Right.
That it wouldn't have those initials. It would have TCB, which means taking care of business. And he and the Dixie Mafia, his friends, all had necklaces and rings that had that logo on it. She didn't know this.
I didn't. And actually, I told him my dad was a huge Elvis fan. I mean, huge. And
yeah.
I mean, it's funny that I didn't know that. He never told me that. I just, in memory of him.
At that moment, she got choked up.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
She had this connection with him, like he
Mhm.
touched her at that moment. Like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, here's
I w
another moment
I
of
felt like he
me."
was here,
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
That's
You'll
beautiful.
keep having those moments too as you journey on through
That's
life.
what they say,
Yeah.
not to talk about anything too sad, but grieving is it's I'm an artist, and so for a while it was really hard for me to sing, because that's what I do for a living,
Oh, and you
on
sing
top of
with
making my
emotion.
originals. Yeah,
You sing with such emotion and truth,
yeah.
and I can see why that would be difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was challenging because sometimes it would just be so hard to do it, and you have to kind of pretend, and like I said, I don't like to pretend when I sing. If I'm really
No,
feeling
you can't
emotion,
sell.
that's
I
what
can't sell a song if I'm pretending.
right.
Yeah. No.
But there was a moment where I said, "How am I gonna get through this?" Like, I mean, because music was my dad and I that was our thing. I mean, that was our thing. I mean, I think the whole reason I'm able to sing is because he introduced me to all this different influence of music, and, but yeah, Elvis was a big, and it just made it even more special. Because at first I'm like, I'm not a big tattoo person. When I get it, they have to have meaning. And then I think old school, like my dad would say, "Why are you doing that? Don't tattoo yourself." But yeah, it meant so much more. I didn't even know that. And I'm so surprised he never told me that because he was a person that would just give you information all the
That
time.
makes me happy to know that
Yeah, that was
too.
a
Those
moment.
moments I got to witness that and be a part of,
Yes.
of him
So thank you.
touching you right
Yeah.
there at that
Yeah.
moment.
That was beautiful.
That's cool. Now you play around town here. Katrina plays around town. Um, where are you playing right now? You have any gigs coming up? Or
Well, I'm kind of the house singer for the Aviators, so that's the minor league baseball team. It's literally in Summerlin where I live. It's
which
a
is awesome.
gorgeous, yeah. It's so awesome because they're great people. I mean, they're all the corporate all the people like the CEO. I get to like they're just such nice, kind people. And
Can't say that
it's
about a
fun.
lot of CEOs,
No,
right?
you can't, but theirs you
That's
absolutely
good
can.
to can
Yeah,
get that,
they're great people.
right?
I sing all over town. I sing where you sing at the M. I sing Westgate. I sing doing the national anthem for the Aviators. So I'm just trying to, but I'm also working on my originals. But it's nice. It's a blessing and a curse because I feel like I can sing anything. So when I'm trying to find my style, because I know I can, because I sing so many genres on like 4 nights a week. Um, but of course, I have my favorites, but I find it difficult to say because I can sing different type of stuff. Whereas, country singers like, well, I sing country. Blues singers like, I sing blues. I mean, that's just my.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I'm sure I
Yeah.
have a sound. I'm finding it right now, so that's been an interesting part
Oh
of
no,
my.
you definitely have a sound.
Yeah.
It's unique. It's your own. You'll hear it here in a moment because we're going to talk a little more music here and bring up something. Let's bring up a song here in a second. Just making sure everybody nobody's freaking out. Okay, we got hey Renee, Kathy,
Hey,
Joanne.
Joanne.
Yep, there's Joanne. And John Thurston is he's getting some alter surgery. He's when he comes out. I don't know what this is. He might look like a cyborg. I don't know what's happening,
You know what? Knowing
but
John, I think he'd be okay with that.
yeah, I think he's going to come out partially robotic.
Yeah,
But we're all happy for him, and I can't wait to see him and his new
absolutely.
robotic parts. And let's see. Kathy B said TCB with the lightning symbol meant taking care
Care
of business
business in a
in a
flash.
flash.
Okay,
There we
see,
go.
we
So
keep
in a
learning.
flash.
Yes.
See, I didn't know that. Thank you, Kathy.
Oh,
Uh,
this is awesome.
isn't it? That's
In a
fun.
flash.
You always learning something. And now we learned that was triple now. Moments of
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom,
Mhm. It even
cause
more
and
sense.
effect,
Yeah, there you go.
almost like chain of events.
Right?
Now all of the chaos makes perfect sense,
Right. Oh,
as Joe
okay.
Diffie
He's
said,
never
right?
gonna let me live down the Hurricane Katrina, and
You think that's a Katrina, but no, look,
oh, okay.
you just have guilt on you,
I
okay,
do. It's
for
written all
doing
over
what you
me.
did, okay, all right. Let me grab my guitar real quick.
Yeah.
All right, keep them
Well,
company.
thank you so
Talk
much.
amongst yourselves.
Sure. Thank you so much. Michael and I, we've done a show together at the Smith Center. We were trying to decide what song we wanted to sing. We always do Fleetwood Mac. I mean, that's the safe go-to that we do. But I know Michael likes a lot of blues, and it's always a privilege to get to sing with such a talented musician and singer. And you're gonna
Well,
be able to fit in here.
yeah. Did you get that? Was good. Okay, sure. Killed enough time
I
there for
killed
me.
enough
All right,
time.
good.
I felt like I was talking to myself, but I'm talking to everybody
I
here.
know, and I have to do that
I'm
sometimes
like,
by myself
is
on this
this
thing,
thing
and
on?
I don't know. That's why I don't get probably a lot of people watching. They're like, "Oh, what's he going to talk about today again?" Egypt, Israel.
I think people love you. They'd listen anyway.
I don't know what I'm
Do you
working on
usually do
anymore.
music when play music on your live? I've checked out a
I
few
do
of them.
once in a while.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what to sing. I kind of know what to say.
Huh, that's interesting. It's opposite for me.
You know, what's even stranger is sometimes like I know what to say on a guitar
Oh,
more
of
than I know
course.
what to sing, right? To say through
Hmm.
vocal. And
Right.
I'd rather do that than I would this, or vice versa. It's never one can work. I mean, never both at the same time. It's
Well,
strange.
that's a beautiful thing about music, right? It's like its own language. You feel
Yeah.
like you're speaking a language, and when you deliver it to somebody with emotion,
Well, it is a
it's
language. It
beautiful.
is, and there's no doubt.
Absolutely.
You don't have to know the lyrics. See, if a song is singing lyrics, to know the emotions are all over.
Would you say what a melody is that what when you sing a melody, when you create one for your own song, it's that's the feeling of it with
So I'm
along
going to
with
use a quote from Spinal Tap.
okay.
All right, here it is. Hear that? D minor, the saddest of all chords. Saddest of all keys, I think is what he said.
Yeah, that's right.
Saddest of all keys, D minor.
D minor.
But you know, I mean, like if you really are playing like minor chords, you can feel the emptiness and
Absolutely.
vulnerability in that chord, as opposed to out where you
Right.
go ah,
Yeah.
and then you go oh, you know,
Yeah.
it's like it's sad, you know,
And
right?
they're called minors and majors. Yeah.
Minors and majors,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you know, and so with that, and then you put in the emotion of a human voice, you know,
Mhm.
and then the emotion of the instruments being played by humans, people, humans.
No AI.
And
No robots
you
playing.
know, this is out of control, man. I'm telling you. I mean,
It's
like
kinda
it's
scary, yeah.
well, it just
I
says
don't know
that
to be
it marks
scared or
the
to
end.
be yeah.
I feel like it's officially the end of musicians like me and others like me. This
Mhm.
era of what you see of us,
Yeah.
what you are holding the torch to do are the last. We're the last of them. Because the rest of them aren't carrying these torches. They're
Right.
carrying a version of it, just like anything. But
Yeah.
to be expected, culture is to move on and progress
Progress, yeah.
into something else. So, and that's what it's doing. I am going to hold the torch. You are holding the torch. That's what our job is while we're around.
Mhm.
Because our generations and those to come and want to know.
I
They
do
want to know
believe, yeah.
because when they're around it, they go, "Oh, it's nothing like
It's
when I
different.
hear it on or watch it on YouTube or I'm doing." It's now I get what it's about when I'm in the environment amongst it. I
Sure.
see the musicianship. I see the art.
Mhm.
I see the camaraderie. I see this, you know, this social that they don't get,
Dynamic, yeah.
right? Dynamic. Thank you.
Mhm.
That you don't get on watching it on.
My favorite is when I have little kids. I always they say that this is kind of a business part of music, but they say that if you can get a 14-year-old to like your song, right? They push a lot of the music. That's like the golden that's the kind of like that's the age range that they, even labels that, I guess they try to but when I see kids and they're like they give me a thumbs up and they like my voice, that's awesome to me because the little ones, because they actually pay attention and they feel that emotion and they actually hear a live singer,
Well, they're going
you
to.
know,
They're
for the
going
first
to.
time.
The
Yeah.
thing is that the entertainment industry itself is not going to allow that as they progress forward with the
Sure.
new music. That's just old, you
Right.
know. But of course, the younger generation, anybody's going to love that music that you sing.
Right.
It's real.
Yeah.
It's
Same.
real, and it's timeless in my point of view.
Yeah.
It doesn't mark an era for me.
Mm.
If it does, it's a damn sure one that I didn't grow up in.
Yeah.
Wasn't my era. You know, most music you and I sing, those people are long gone,
Long gone.
you know? Yeah.
Who's your favorite, one of your well, I guess one of your inspirations that you really pull from?
Otis Redding. Who's yours?
It's not gonna be in the same realm, but I really, really love like Shaka Khan
I love it.
and
Yeah,
the
love Shaka
soul,
Khan.
the
Come
soul. I
on,
love, of
man.
course, Stevie
Now
Nicks,
that's
but
that's
yeah,
yeah,
Shaka
that's so
Khan.
Oh, that's soul. That's progressive soul. When
Yeah.
she came around in the '80s, doing all of that, that was
Yeah.
like,
And that's kind of the style
okay,
I think I'm actually
yeah.
making right now is, you know.
It needs to be in right now. Everything's going to tap in on to the '80s. I love that with the
Mhm.
grooves and stuff that
Oh,
I miss so
80s, the
much. You know?
synths and all that.
Yeah,
My dad was a big into 80s. I mean,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, we had a playlist that I let everybody generate when he passed for the reception. I also sang there because everybody made me, even though I
But you
wanted
didn't
to, but to
grow
honor
up
him.
in the
But
'80s, though.
no,
No.
no, 90s,
Yeah, I
90s,
grew up in the
90s kid.
'80s, man. That was a fun time.
Fun time,
It
huh?
was fun for a little boy because man, it was just the fall of the wall. I remember being a big thing, and like,
Mhm.
where's the wall? And they're like, that's in Europe. I'm like, what do we have to do with this? And everybody's happy, and I
Yeah.
remember just the world being happy and
Yeah.
this great, almost utopia, peaceful
Coming out
moment.
of the 70s,
You know,
yeah.
well, coming out, and then the fall of the wall at the end of the
Yeah.
'80s towards that, you know, and then
Mhm.
led us into the horrible '90s of music. I'm sorry, '90s. You produced horrible music.
You
Not
just
in
lost
all,
half
but
of the no, I'm
I
just
know,
kidding.
right? You got Hootie on there. I'm not Hootie.
Right? No, you know, actually growing up,
Darius Rucker. Yeah.
I'm not a big 90s music
No,
fan
90s
either, you
music
know?
took a really
But then
nasty turn. They were trying to not be '80s so much
yeah,
that
that they
they went for the worst for the most part.
yeah, and then, you know, but then and this might be that you might feel the same way, but you know, I have to say Christina Aguilera, there were all these pop artists pushed into your face as a kid. Britney Spears, and they were all new. And don't get me wrong, I like a good Spice Girls song, but
Who
Christina
doesn't? Come
Aguilera
on.
was the one that had a lot of power and was like she was my inspiration to be sometimes they call me in town the belter because I can do that. It's not very pleasing
Well, I
afterwards,
was
but
watching Mickey Mouse Club. I was when she was on there,
right,
yeah. I was watching that, her and Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake, and we all knew they were gonna become stars even back
right,
then. They were
yeah.
set because they were the highlighted few on the show,
Hmm.
on that variety show.
You kind of forget that, huh? I forget that they were on that.
Yeah, I don't. I remember it
Yeah.
because I had a crush on Britney Spears, but
Who didn't?
I had this right. I kept looking at this little homely looking Christina Aguilera, snaggletooth little thing. There's this
But that
skinny
girl
as
can
could be, and I was like, damn, she could sing though. And I remember her being my favorite singer. I just had a
see,
crush on Britney,
right.
you know.
And they marketed him that way, right?
Yeah,
But
and they
then
did, right?
Christina
Yeah.
had her moment when she got, you know, her dirty song and we're like, oh, you're in chaps. Okay. But yeah, no, Christina Aguilera was constantly in my, back then I still had a
We're
CD.
talking about Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears right
Well,
now.
that's an influence,
It
right? I
is. It
mean,
truly is. Yes, absolutely.
or it could be, this is what I don't want to, you know, like
No,
there are some,
they really are, and they influence a lot of people.
they
There
did.
is no way the world would not be what it is without them.
Yeah.
And
They're
look, they kept carrying the torch.
pop icons. Yeah.
Yeah, they
Hmm.
did it in a pop way, but I say carrying the torch, and they were. I think they did it real. You
Sure.
know, they did it as real as they could. I think it drove Britney Spears crazy in
Yeah.
business.
It'll do
It
that.
did for a moment.
Hmm.
I mean, I've had a couple nervous breakdowns in the music business that
Yeah.
I can recall,
Hmm.
literally nervous breakdowns,
Yep.
clinical stuff.
And it wasn't talked
And I
about
was
back then.
never on
Yeah.
a level of like that. And then she and all them from childhood all the way up, they can endure it a little more, maybe because of that, but I don't know.
It's a
That's
whole
just
lot of pressure. I mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
to extend that out for your whole life. I mean,
yeah.
to constantly show up and be,
You that guy, you that person that you have to be on all the time when you're in the
yeah.
public eye, and it
And
just
everyone always,
nah,
yeah,
man,
yeah.
yeah.
That'll be tough, but yeah.
But that's cool though. Okay, yeah, and so your influences are the ones that, yeah. And you said Spice Girls. I love the Spice Girls.
I gotta say,
I know, right?
I love the UK, and I mean, the Spice Girls, they were
They are
iconic.
about as UK as you can
And you know
get,
what?
man.
And I think they're all such
With
characters, and they
right.
really played on that, you know, scary Spice. And then
Mhm.
there were the ones that you wanted to be more like. We would fight over who was Baby Spice, even though now I want to be Posh Spice. She's really
Everybody
gorgeous.
seems to be touched through the business these days through Simon Cowell, it appears,
That's
to
right.
some degree, you
That's
know?
right.
He's made quite a mark
Hmm.
into pop culture.
Yeah, I never
You
thought
know?
about that. That's very
Yeah,
true. Yeah.
with all those bands and everything he's
Yeah.
done, from Teletubbies,
Really?
all right? I think he was behind that,
Interesting.
wasn't he? I
It
think
wouldn't
so. Look it up. I don't know. See if it correct me if I'm wrong. I
wouldn't
think he was
surprise
behind
me.
that started, or I don't know. Yeah, he's probably or if he's listening, he'd be like, Michael, I gave you your career. What career you have?
What
Better
career
not
you've got
say,
still.
don't say anything bad about me.
Don't ever mention my name on
Don't ever
YouTube
mention my
Live
name.
ever again.
Right.
Yeah, so but yeah, no, it's funny, my mom tells a story that she used to open the door and I really wanted this karaoke mic, and I've been singing since I was like 5, but then around the age of like 8, 9, I would be in there singing Spice Girls, and my mom would always say, you kind of have a Stevie Nicks, eh?
She heard the little raspiness in your voice
But
is probably what she
now,
did, huh?
but now
Yeah.
that's all everybody ever wants. As soon as I sing Stevie Nicks, people, well, now I'm putting the pressure on if we do that. They're like, she's
Well,
a
now
song.
you're definitely gonna have to.
Well,
Yeah,
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 right. Well,
yeah.
that's what we always do together. We
But we
wanted
could,
to do
yeah,
something. We could
like
do a few. One, two, three. Now here you go again. You say you want your free. Who am I to keep you down? It's only right that you should play the way you feel. Listen carefully to the same loneliness that the heartbeat just made. Stillness alone and the rest what you had, what you lost, what you had, ooh, what you lost. Ladies only love you when they're there. To say that women, they come and they go. When the rain washes you clean, you know, you know, you know. Ay, 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 you know.
I had to have the last note. I don't
Of
know why I
course,
did.
Christ.
That was awesome.
That was
And that's the
awesome.
reason why your mama said that, because you got
Right?
that little raspiness, but you don't sound like Stevie.
I don't, and you know what? I
You
don't
don't
want to,
sound, you don't
right? I
sound
want to
like
have my own
anybody,
sound, even though
dude.
Stevie, nobody can sound like
You do not
Stevie.
sound like it, dude. And be honest, guys. If you hear her, if she reminds you of somebody, let us know. I mean, that could be a very compliment. It could not. Who knows? But if she sounds like, I think she sounds very unique. I think you sound very unique
Thank
and very
you.
believable. And that's all that matters when it comes to what we do in the art of what
And that's one of the
as a
first
singer.
things you
Right?
said, before I was a singer in town. I was like, oh, that's Michael Grimm. Wow. That voice to me, I know, but that voice, you got
The
like,
story
you
was
such a
probably like,
tone.
yeah, I know.
Now, the
They
first thing you
say
said
a
is,
lot of
oh,
things
Katrina,
out of.
she ruined my singing. I was like, oh gosh, now I have to sing a song with this guy. But you did say, you have such emotion. And it was the first time someone actually avidly said that to me and recognized that in me. And it affirmed, it was an affirmation that, it's kind of, okay, good. That's what I want. And I'm glad that, you said that, because I've always tried to carry that thought in my head. Just bring the emotion. You don't have to be nervous. The bigger shows that you do, and it'll be there for you. And the emotion backs you up. It's kind of
You
like your
know what
friend.
you're doing, baby. And don't listen to anyone else. You know that. If
Yeah.
somebody's telling you you're not doing it right or you didn't sound right for you, if it felt right for you, just it doesn't matter because you're doing it really for me, at least for me, and I want to speak for me on this. It's a way to get that things off my chest.
Very much.
You know,
That's a
therapy,
great way to put it.
right?
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah.
And people get to see that therapy coming out of
Mhm.
you when you're
Right,
singing.
right.
You were mentioning that earlier, something about when you would look at people singing and their face on stage and the emotions and stuff,
Yeah.
how you kind of couldn't look them in the eyes or something like that,
Yeah, in
right?
the
Or something
beginning,
in the
yeah.
beginning
But
because
it's such a gem, right?
right,
When you actually do it,
but
even
you
for a minute.
but you know, I mean, when I know
I'm
what you're
sorry.
talking about, and you can, I know what you're talking about when you say that because when you're on stage and you see that guitarist or whomever that singer and they got it in their face, man, and they're looking right at you. That emotion is heavy.
Yeah.
It's something like you gotta like either you take it on, you gotta pull that energy in
Yeah,
and be willing to take it in.
right.
Nikki Logan does this a lot.
Oh, she's amazing.
When I'm with her, like I'll be singing with her, and if she looks at me and she's singing, I'm going, you better suck that energy in, man. Because
Yeah.
if the moment I start crashing, I'm like, oh,
And
she's
she
got me
plays
in
with
the
you a
urn,
lot, yeah.
right? And I'm going, oh, you better like go with it. What is she gonna do?
What is she gonna do? Yeah.
But it's such energy, and
Mhm.
that's what it is, and it's emotion on a major scale
Right.
when you're in the middle of a song and you
Absolutely.
push an emotion out. It's unbelievable. The experience
Yes.
when we're
Music's is
experiencing it.
yeah. For both parties, right? For both parties.
Well, they get
But for
one perspective,
yeah.
one of which that we don't get really. At least for
Mhm.
me, I don't totally understand theirs, maybe to some degree. But some people, I'm like, I don't understand why you so fanatic over it. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't even get that fanatic over it. But they have a different. Everybody has their different perspective.
Yeah.
But the perspective that I know well of, and you know well of, is that moment where we as musicians and singers live for the moment. That's the art. We
Mhm.
are temporal artists.
Yeah.
We are not painters that paint something that's there to go and look at any given time. The art that we provide has to do with time, and it is displayed with time.
Yeah.
We're timekeepers in the art of what we do.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so that's the way I kind of view those. You said Etta James earlier.
Yeah.
Now I could hear your voice singing some Etta.
What kind of Etta though?
Damn your eyes.
Which one?
Damn your eyes. Do you know that? No.
No, but I need to learn
What
more.
about
I don't want to do. I do you know? I just want to make love to you.
it's a blues song.
That's bluesy, yeah.
Oh, how's it go? Sing a little bit. Let me see where it is in my
I
head.
don't want you to be true, and I just want to make love to you. Love to you. I think it's a what is it? 12 bar blues.
I remember it many times. Yeah, I wanted to know in my mind if it's 12 bar and where does it start now?
Yeah.
Because if it
Oh,
has
in
a
the
bridge on it, I'm thinking it does. Like it goes to the four or
no,
something on
it
the
just
bridge.
yeah, it just no,
It
it's
just
just
keeps
the
repeating the same thing.
yeah,
It could be.
yeah.
I'll have to go to it because I need to pull
What
the
else
edit
do we
out.
what else do
Do
we
you know
know?
Danny? I mean, do you know well, something told me it was over. You
Yeah.
know that one?
Yeah.
Is that a good
Yeah,
key
that's a
for
good
you?
one.
Something. Do you
Do you
sing it
guys
there?
mind if I pull up the lyrics? Like, we never are
No,
allowed to do
pull them
this.
up. Yeah, we're just talking music, so
Rather Go Blind,
I'd
yeah?
rather go blind.
You know what song I just got into is Misty Blue, but I don't know what that was, so don't ask me to do it. Okay, let's go.
Let me hear you. Something told me.
Something told me it was over.
Can you go up here? Something told me.
Sure. You can, though.
You.
Okay. What's the key? Or what's the...
Something told me.
Something told me it was over. When I saw you talking to that girl. I gotta find my key. Something deep down in my soul said cry, girl. When I saw you good talking. I don't know what that was.
Oh, you just singing, baby.
And
I would rather go blind
let's see.
than to see you walk away from me.
Okay.
I'm just making.
No, you're not. I would rather be blind, boy, than to watch you walk away from me, child.
All right, let's try this. I was just sitting here thinking, baby,
My turn.
thinking about your kiss and your warm embrace. When the reflection in the glass said I here to my lips, my baby. Rebuild the tears all over my face. Did I give enough emotion in that bass?
Yeah.
Sing it. I would rather go blind than to see you walk away. Take it, baby.
I would rather go blind.
Oh, you are good now.
And to see you walk away from me.
I don't want to see you walk away.
So you see, I love you, girl.
Ooh, oh, oh.
That I don't want to see you walk away from me, child. Most of all, just don't want to be free.
I don't let you be free, no, baby.
Don't want to be free from you.
But see, most of those songs like that, I
You know
mean, they
what?
just rock off of those
Yeah.
two chords, you know.
It took me a while to find my
Leave room.
footing. He made me go on the higher key.
But you started doing it there at the end. That's what it is. You know,
Yeah.
you just kind of own it. You know, just let it be yours, right? And you do that so awesome.
Yeah.
Every time you do that, you're like, okay, here we go. And I love that about Nikki too. She's like, yeah, no, it's my song right now.
Yeah.
It's mine. You know.
Yeah. You know, I should know that song better. It's like when you don't know, sometimes you can find the key. If you, I know the song, I just don't sing it very often. Obviously, everybody knows that song, but
Two of my favorite singers together, Jen Thurston says, love you guys, so special. Hope John's doing all right. Now, I told you guys,
wait, is Jen
I told
on?
you she's awesome
Oh,
singer.
there she is.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah.
Jen,
Yeah.
we love Jen. We were just talking about you and your amazing art, and you're such a great artist.
Oh, yeah.
She's going to get mad at me. She's gonna be like, really? Don't call me out in front of everybody.
Yeah. No, people don't understand.
Mm-mm.
No, no. It's almost at a sick level, like of art. Like you go, okay, this is done by a savant or something.
Absolutely.
You know, kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Someone said, best show ever. Who is this girl? Someone asks.
I know, right? Where's she been? That's what I asked. Where in the hell have you been all this time? I could have been singing with you. We could have been singing together many, many times over the years. You've been out here how long now?
2 years.
Oh, we wouldn't have been singing together for all that time.
But we did do a show at Smith Center, yeah?
Now that I learned that.
Yeah. I'm like, well, you just met me because I just moved here. It's as simple as that. Yeah. So,
yeah, that's my stomach. That's not the guitar.
yeah, well, we were supposed to eat before.
We were supposed to eat, and I was supposed to make food. It's my bad.
It's okay. We were talking.
But we got into talking, and then this came. And so for the menu today.
Yeah, what are you cooking me?
I am not going the jambalaya route. I can.
No, do something different.
But I wanted to go an Asian route.
Okay.
I wanted to go more Thai.
You
know, so I'm thinking Thai. So I'm thinking lo mein, right?
I need it.
Right.
I need that. Yeah.
And then throw it in the fryer. Fry some lo mein.
Okay.
You know.
There you go.
But with some Thai seasons, like coconut oil to fry it with, some coconut milk, some lime.
You're speaking my language.
I have some lemongrass in the front, which I'm going to cut, and I'm going to throw that.
You do have a very beautiful garden. Who tends to that?
That is Lucy.
Of course.
100%. That garden will not be here if it not be for her. I don't think any of this would be. I mean, I do the money. If I lived in this without Lucy, none of this would be here. It would be an empty shell, like
just a few guitars,
just like my heart would be.
Oh,
an empty shell.
Yeah.
She fulfills my life. Fabricates my life.
Good for you. You deserve it. Both of you.
She does all the erection and fabrication in my life.
Was I the only one who got that? No. Oh, can I show him a picture? He's like, please don't, but please do. Look at this. I said, when did you and Lucy meet? He goes, actually, I said, oh, that's a cute picture. He goes, that's
That's the
actually the
that's the
night.
night we met. No,
Where's the
yes.
camera? Why can't I find it? There you go. Look how cute.
I'm like,
He
she
looks
wouldn't let
scared.
me go when she met me. She was asking. I said she kept coming around. I couldn't let her go. That's for sure.
Michael's like, you can't go showing all of my pictures to the people.
But that's fun though. You're so smart. There's so many things, and there's so many dimensions to you that is so cool. You're a thinker. I love that. I love that. It shows as to the music you sing and how you sing it, why you sing it,
Right.
the way you do. You think you come through some stuff too. You can tell
Yeah.
you've been through things. You've been
Well,
through
I think that makes you a great artist when you've been through
supposed to
some
be the
things.
thing that sounds cliche, in the
Yeah.
business, but it really is the truth in every bit of the way. Yeah.
Well, it's a business that relies on uh emotion, right? So like we
Well,
said.
that's what we sell,
Yeah.
emotion. I become now. Let us be clear on this, guys. Just so you know, the lovers of musicians and singers out there and entertainers alike. I speak for all when I say this to you. Um, we are not there for your personal emotional needs outside of when we're off the stage. Okay.
Agreed.
I'm sorry, guys. It's not what you think it is. Some of you might think you got these ideas about our lives and stuff. And when we're not on stage, and well, I'm sure I've heard some people what they think. It's a very different life we lead.
Hmm.
You know, we lead the life. We do not follow. We're not followers
Yeah.
in this. I'm not a follower. I can't follow. I'm horrible at following. I am.
Yeah.
See how I went Jewish just then?
Yeah. I
I'm
saw that.
horrible.
Uh, you
Boy.
do that very good. Yeah. Well, yeah, I think you say that the reason why we were talking previously about, it can get, yeah, it's a repression. It's like being a doctor and then everybody texts you, hey, my kid has a flu. Do you know what it's like? Well, I'm not really working. I know that's what I can do for you, but I'm kind of, enjoying my time off. But yeah, it's something we love to give, but we don't always have, it's not something that we have all the energy in the world to give out.
Well, it's I guess what I'm trying to say, and you'll agree, I'm sure, is that we are not 9 to 5ers, and we don't live
No.
that sort of lifestyle, which is a different lifestyle to us. I've never done a 9 to 5, so I don't understand the culture of that. I appreciate the hell out of it. I appreciate the hell out of everybody working your butts off. Um, but yeah, I know it's a different life though, from an entrepreneurial life, let alone an entertainer.
Right.
That lifestyle is so nomadic. It's so
It really
Bedouin.
is.
It's
Yeah.
so Bedouin. It's it's gypsy. I don't want to offend any Romanis out there, but
Yeah.
it is.
Absolutely.
They'll be like, yeah, we are gypsies. Darn it,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they own up to it, right? The
Yeah.
gypsy lifestyle. But yeah, it's sort of
Keeps things
our.
interesting, but it's also,
It's
yeah.
like a circus.
Yeah.
Like that's what you sign up for in this business. That's what it is, and that's the uncertainties. I think that movie, the what's that movie I mentioned recently?
The one that you,
The
Mr.
No, no, not
Oh,
Mr.
okay.
Nobody,
Okay.
but
Okay.
that's a good one for
Yeah.
another. No, it was about this guy who experienced the entertainment business, and his way of describing it metaphorically was it was like a lonely limo ride with a really bad limo driver in it.
Yeah.
It's like eventually you want out of this damn lonely thing.
Yeah.
People get in with you.
Mhm. Yeah.
When you get out, it's always like, hey, you gotta go again. Get back in the lonely.
Yep. Get back
Get back
in.
in.
We're going to the
I
next
love
one.
that analogy because it's really what it's like. And anybody that thinks that the music business and the entertainment world, we're all getting together for the holidays. That's where everybody in
Yeah.
Hollywood, they all get around the Christmas trees or wherever it is, and we all get together and we all have each other's phone numbers. And for the ones in the business that do keep in touch, there's a lot of legit relationships, I believe, within the business amongst celebrities. But it's not what you think, guys. It's a very lonely, very narcissistic, very sadistic, narcissistic business that doesn't Does not look at all like what, and I'm putting it lightly if I'm even putting it there, guys, for you, but it's not at all what you think it is. Once the lonely drive is done, you want out.
You want out.
You
Yeah.
want out of that limo. It's not fun, and it's uncomfortable
Yeah.
all the way.
You
All
have
the
more
way.
experience than in that than I do, you know.
I got my toes in the water. I got my foot in the door enough to see that I didn't want to have any part to do with that ship. That was enough.
Yeah.
Look at me. I take everything for a grim turn. This is
Is that your signature?
it's a signature thing. I leave everything on a grim note at the end of things.
Right?
I must. It's just part of my name. And by the way, I've done the etymology on my name further, hoping I will find something positive in that name. Guys, there's nothing.
There's nothing.
In every etymological turn, and even trying to, do a little stylizing, maybe it's this and that. No, all the other things it sounds like is just as bad. So it is a Scandinavian word for like helmet or mask. It meant fierce. It was a Viking's name. That's why the name is of a warrior. That's the grim name, is a warrior given name.
Love it.
Right, I guess that's the part
That's
I
kind
can
of
love
cool,
about
though.
it.
That's very cool.
Other than that, because you go down the line and you look and you go, well, maybe somebody gave the grim name a better light to it, right?
Right.
Maybe some guys can write some fairy tales that'll give it a better light.
Right.
No, they had to write about really dark stuff, really uber dark stuff.
Yeah.
The Jew and the Thistle, come on.
Never.
Yeah, yeah. Ooh, you want to talk about dark? Goes all the way back then, guys. That was the name of the original, the troll in the bush or troll in the thistle, which is one of their stories.
Okay.
Mind you, this is the early 1800s, guys. But yeah,
Is it dark?
a troll to the tales of that area of Europe in that time, a troll was a Jew, was a Jewish person.
Oh.
Yeah.
See
how that goes? It's very interesting. When I go down the line too with etymology and I'm looking up things like my name, other names, it is quite fascinating.
Really?
Oh boy, you start opening up things. And mind you, a name doesn't tell you anything about the individual.
Right.
Okay. That's not what you're in search for. What I'm in search for is the actual name itself, like where the root of it comes from.
And then you can learn
It's
a little bit
common
about
name.
where you
My name, Michael, which is Mikael, right? And all these names, like you wonder where are these roots and why are they there in the culture that is part of the Western culture. Guys, and mind you, if you say, well, you individualize culture so much so these days and say, well, cultural appropriation, I hate that word. Okay, okay. Here's the thing. We in the West, meaning Europe and America, all of the West over here, we do have a culture that if you go to Asia and other parts of the world, mainly just Asia, go to the opposite side, you'll see that our cultures and our names even over here all are similar amongst Europe. Different variations of the same names coming from the same areas, Mediterranean here and there, and yes, what is that?
So this is the one you didn't notice because you noticed the bolt.
Is that Russian?
It's Greek, and
Greek.
it actually is my name, and that's funny you say that because when I found
it looks Coptic, which
yeah.
is
Well, I got it kind of traditional, but it means pure of heart, and it stems from Catherine. It's the earliest form of my name: Katia, Katie, Katrina. Yeah.
So it's how do you say it now?
Katharos.
Katharos.
Yeah, that's a yeah. So it's funny how your name, and I do feel pure of heart. I mean, sometimes to a fault.
I know when you learn your name, but look at, like I said, never, and that you have to be clear on that with people too. On it doesn't
mean
show the character of a person, because some names like mine, Graham, it means just in every negative way you can think, man.
Right.
Even the Grim Reaper is death, and then but you look at other names and it could be like it represents a hole in the ground.
Right.
or maybe in some people's case, and he'll know what I'm talking about in this one, who might represent tripe, which is like the fatty substances that comes from a cow
Mhm.
or animal, right?
Right.
That those things will wind up in people's surnames because it was their occupations
Right.
or things that they were known for in certain villages. I
Right.
find
So
that fascinating.
interesting.
And there's one story even on my name that it said that maybe on another outlook of where my name came from was that it wasn't from a Scandinavian Viking that was a warrior, but rather a man in a village who had a really ugly face, which is what the name Grimm would mean. Do I have an ugly face?
No.
I think I'm a little John Calhoun-y looking.
Yeah, but you make it work.
John Calhoun. You look up John. People are on there going John
John
Calhoun
Calhoun.
right now. They're going to look.
Why is it
Okay,
trending?
I just need gray hair. You know, I think he was the vice president of Andrew Jackson. That John Calhoun.
Okay, so now they know.
Yeah, I'm a history guy. I like
We couldn't
history.
tell.
I like everything, science,
Yeah,
except
that's cool.
biology. I never got into biology, which fascinates me because I've started from like the seed. So I said, okay, I'll start from these subatomic particles because if I can understand them, then I'll get all the rest.
Yeah.
But the problem is the people that come up with those theories can't even understand them. So I'm still kind of stuck
Yeah.
right outside the nucleus of the atom
Yeah,
in
it is
nuclear
very
physics.
it's kind of a
So
mind trip.
I don't really, I haven't ventured into compounds as much as what chemistry can bring and offer to even go into the world of biology itself and how that works. Blows my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you almost wonder how we live our whole lives, using this science to fly planes,
Well,
for gas to
we
produce
use
things.
what's more probable, right?
Yeah,
What seems to work the best. In theory, it's all theories. We can show evidence and evidence that makes it more probable,
sure.
but it's theories. However, I do believe in one truth.
What's that?
I believe in one fact, one reality, one world that we live in. What's your perspective on that?
It's
Meaning, like there is always one truth. Somebody can say this phone is right here, and one may contest that it isn't. That's what I'm saying.
well in science,
I say, well, I can pick it up and I can look at it and I can use my senses to automatically judge that this object exists in front of me. So therefore, it's true to me. But one might say, well,
there's multiple truths, I
that
think.
I don't agree that is not in your hands,
Yeah,
right? But I won't agree with that person because it's quite apparent. Because if I clunk them in the head with it, they're going to think different, right?
yeah,
Now, do you think it exists, right?
right.
So it winds up being that's an example and a poor one, by the way, of my truth, your truth, right?
We all have our
There are a lot of people who believe in the one, my truth and your truth way of life, right? It's whatever I believe, and the victor tells the story, and that becomes the truth, right?
right.
But I don't believe that way,
Okay.
right? I go with the myself as it may not ever be known to one. The victor might tell this story, but it's never the truth.
His truth. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
but the truth will always be there in place
Oh
of
yeah, for
time,
sure.
and it's always there, and it was there. May
It always
never
will
be
be.
known in some
Yeah,
ways because it may get shrouded by
absolutely.
someone else's view of their truth, but not the truth
Yes.
itself,
I
right?
believe some people believe that there are different truths, but yes, that
Yeah.
there is one truth. Yeah.
I don't know. It's just
It's complex
everybody has their
actually. You
own
never
thing.
yeah.
I heard Anthony Hopkins make a speech on YouTube the other day. Some speech on everything is what you believe it to be, sort of thing. And he's probably oh yeah, right. That's not what I said. No, but everything is what you believe it to be was sort of speech, and I don't agree with that. But that's just it's an easy. It's not like I'm hell bound. Ah, nobody should believe in that. It's just perspective.
Perspective. Yeah,
You know
absolutely.
what works for one may not work for another. A
Yeah, I
perspective.
agree with that.
But
Yeah.
I feel like that the truth is always there.
I feel like it finds its way to surface.
Yeah, and
And you can deny it, but it's
whatever it may be, it's just the truth. It's
yeah.
all it is.
Yeah.
To fabricate around it, to disguise it, that's what humans do. That's what we
Mhm.
do. We tend to do it. And then given enough of time, and it doesn't take much time, a decade or two,
Yeah.
a couple generations at best, we've already forgotten what the
The
truth
truth is.
was,
Yeah.
right? And so the victor tells the story in the end. the victor
That would be a good
tells the
song.
story, and so the truth becomes that, right?
Yeah.
What was the truth? These are things we all get to learn in life. Some get to learn more in a punishing way,
Yeah.
like me on that one.
Yeah.
Let me see. We got Jen coming in right here. We're about to get off here. What other song would
Yeah.
you want to?
What other song can we do?
I don't know.
What did we do at the Stevie Nicks tribute? We did do you know which one did we do, you and I? We did Dreams.
We did
Oh,
the Stevie
Gypsy.
Yeah.
Well, you did a lot, but the ones I sang.
You know, and most of those songs I had never played up till that point.
Really?
Yeah. I've never really done many Stevie Nicks songs. And though I grew up in our own company throughout my career,
Mm.
we crossed paths a couple times, Stevie Nicks and I.
Yeah.
It's the most bizarre thing. I shared a manager with Lindsey Buckingham. I
Right.
met her years ago. Who my manager worked with Tom Petty at the time also.
Right. That story. Okay.
Right? And I got to meet her then. And then after I won the show, Mike Campbell from the Heartbreakers, I guess he mentioned me to her because I saw her in an interview talking about me. And she said something about her talking to Mike Campbell, which I knew I hadn't talked to Mike Campbell since I was in my 20s when I worked with him. So I hadn't talked to him. So I knew they were talking.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh boy, I hope he's not.
What did I do? Did I do everything right?
I hope I did Mike right, you know. But yeah.
We know some of the same songs.
And then we went, and when I went on tour with Stevie, Stevie, you came out to a gig of mine years ago. And she's like, yeah. This is in the middle of the tour, I'm telling her.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, yeah, it wasn't like a big deal for me to tell her. I knew she didn't remember me, but she did. And she came out to a gig of mine, which was a month after she committed to coming. I said, nah, she's like,
yeah.
She damn well came.
Did
Come
she?
and see me perform. Yeah.
She
It
seems
was
like
a showcase I
yeah.
was doing. So she's very much that way. Yeah.
Landslide? Oh, okay. Yeah. Perfect. Took my love and I took it down. Climbed the mountain and I turned around. And I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hills. And the landslide brought me down. Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tide? Can I handle the seasons of my life? Ooh, I don't know. Well, I've been afraid of changing 'cause I built my life around you. The tide made you bolder, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. So take this love and take it down. Yeah, if you climb a mountain and you turn around, if you see my reflection, snow-covered hills, then stop me down. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, will landslide brought me down. Oh, the landslide brought me down. Pretty.
D minor.
Morning, mate.
The saddest of all
The
chords.
saddest of
Of
all.
all keys.
Of all keys,
Of
mate.
all keys.
Of all keys.
Of all keys.
Morning.
You do a great
Why not?
Courtney accent.
All right.
This
Bloody
is,
hell, mate.
this you actually do it
I do
quite
it really
well.
well.
You do. I met an English guy that could throw his voice into an accent, American accent. I was going, "You're from England?" He's like, "Yeah," and he went in there and he's like, "I can throw it in when I need it." And I was like very convincing. I'm like, "Wow, people can do that." My wife does that.
What is
She'll
she?
be around people with dialects and she'll start picking up on the dialect, not knowing it.
Yeah.
She's even went as far as to offend people sometimes
Really?
and not knowing it. Yeah.
Thinking that, yeah. They don't like it, but I find that a form of admiration.
Well,
With
she's
like
not
an
even
endearing
realizing
thing.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I think she's trying to figure out subconsciously
it's trying to
what the
register what's
language
happening.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how to speak.
Interesting.
And in some cases that's true because for my friends down in the South, when I go down south, they will not listen to me when I'm speaking. I've been out west too long. And my buddies told me this. Jimmy Tripp, he said, he goes, he had the same problem when he goes to Queens, New York. He says, what it is, man, he figured it out. He goes, they think you become too snobby when you move out
Oh,
west.
uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
you gotta
I've heard that.
you gotta crank back into your home accent.
Yeah.
So
I can still hear
once
it. You have
well,
remnants.
when I go down south, it goes into something like this where everything starts rolling into the next, and it's everything.
Yeah, I'm like, actually, let's go back.
Right. So it's and then I gotta start druthering this and ain't that and this
Ain't
and that.
that?
Because they won't listen otherwise. They will
Because they
not
think
listen.
you're too fancy now. Yeah.
They think you're too fancy, and damn well they should, So
Yeah.
Michael, get your feet back on the ground.
There you
buddy.
go.
What's your home accent? Give it to me, your strong one from your family. What did mom and dad sound like that wound up being your conversation with them accent?
Well, where I come from is California, so we say everything with a question. Like, is that that's how we Valley Girl.
Oh yeah.
But I think I'm more. Some people actually
All right,
mistake me and think I'm from the East Coast because I talk super kind of like.
You have a little bit of a East
Yeah,
Coast. Is your
I don't
parents
know.
like from East Coast at all?
Not at all. No.
That's interesting.
But I do love East Coast people.
Because it's the Spanish and Italian.
Yeah.
Mix. That's what it is.
Talking
a lot
about
of Spanish and Italian on the East Coast. Yeah. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, culture.
Culture.
Food. We're talking food. So I'm gonna make up some of that. I'm gonna put on some fried rice, Thai fried chicken.
My stomach's growling.
Mine is too. I know. I'm sorry, baby. I should have had some.
You starved me out.
I did. Starved you out.
You know what? I don't ever sing on a full stomach anyway.
And it's Asian food, so you're not gonna be full. You're gonna be hungry.
I'm gonna be hungry in about like 2 hours.
After you eat. Yeah.
There you go.
All right, but guys,
thank you for having me, Michael.
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
In your beautiful home.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for coming out here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for having me.
And I also want to tie you up for this moment here. I have a gig coming up, and I wanted to ask to see if you might want to do it while you're on the spot. No,
is that even a question?
No, I'm not going to do it right now. But I'm going to ask you here in a moment.
I'm there.
And we'll see if she comes out. And if not, it's because she's busy. But I'm going to ask you here in a moment.
Yeah.
And for the rest of you guys, hope you enjoyed this time. And for what it's worth, have a good day. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Katrina.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye. That was fun.